Zander is a play coach, and I want to share with you the best way I've learned how to juggle. So either if you're just starting out juggling or if you know how to juggle, this is the way to do it fast and efficiently and help other people get there. So why would you want to learn how to juggle? Well, I call juggling the ultimate brain exercise for a reason. Like the way it activates your left and right hemispheres as you're going cross brain, they send out these holistic brain pulses. So they're not specified. And that strengthens good neurons, like strong current neurons. It strengthens them, but also awakens older neurons. So it helps with Alzheimer's, dementia, and even memory. But it also activates the corpus callosum and uses it in a rhythm that it loves. So it actually helps the whole brain communicate better. Now, your hands are the gateway to your brain. The amount of neuron connections go with like your tactile senses on your hands, the micro movements that it has to do with the muscles. That takes a lot of brain power. So when you're using your hands, especially in this cross brain action where you're opening one as you're closing the other, it really stimulates the brain in a very unique way. And it's also super fun to do. So it's continually challenging and it's a wonderful exercise. So that's why juggling gets my top marks. It's about things you can do to exercise your brain. The ROI on it, the amount of time it takes to learn how to juggle is insignificant for what it does for us. So if you say you're going to do it, do it. Don't just stop halfway. Get to the point where you can learn how to juggle. It's easy to do. So let's talk about the props of juggling. A lot of people will tell you to use scarves. I don't really like scarves because when you're tossing them, yeah, you can get the pattern down, but they go rather slow. So you're not getting the full pattern. And you're also learning to catch scarves, which are not as good as what you want to use are the balls. Some people will try to use tennis balls. The problem with tennis balls is when they bang against each other, they bounce all over the place, and then you're just chasing tennis balls. That's not as good either. Some people tell you to use fruits maybe, or people sometimes use fruits, but the problem is that you drop them on the ground, you're going to be worried about bruising them, and you don't want to do that. You want to focus just on juggling and not worry about the props. Sometimes people say use rolled up socks. That's okay for a little bit of time, but again, they're not balls, so socks are just, it's okay. But I'm going to link below a little quick course on how to make nice juggling balls out of rice, plastic bags, and balloons. So you just fill them up right. They're easy to do, and you got some really good juggling balls in that. My highest recommendations are these, which are Hakitos, and you can also find on the website how to make these ones, but that's a little bit later on. A lot of people will also start working with clubs. You can do that later on. I'd recommend starting off with balls. I personally don't use clubs. I just rather learn a new trick with the 3-ball versus trying to get into clubs and start passing, which I'm not a big fan of. Juggling for me is very introverted, so I don't really want to start passing with somebody, although I know it's amazing. I know people who get into these rhythms and it's otherworldly, so absolutely do clubs if you want to go that way. Another thing, when you're learning how to juggle, I tell people go in front of a bed and a wall, making sure it's like a twin or a single size bed, not a full size or queen size. That's just too far. But it's a nice small size bed in front of a wall. When a lot of people learn how to juggle, they start walking forward. So that bed's going to prevent you from doing that. So you're going to stay back. The wall's going to give you the depth perception. So you keep the balls closer to you. And if they drop, they fall into the bed. If you're not in the bed and you're dropping them on the ground, another little tip, keep that back straight, bend those knees when you pick up the ball. That's a little health tip. So it's time to get into some juggling. There is a warm-up exercise that we should do, and that's a cross like this, a little toss back and forth. Now, the ball height's going to be a little bit about forehead height, maybe a little bit higher, but just back and forth like this 10 times in a row. Now, if you're not there at that point, and I have taught people who have not been there, severe brain damage or things going on, and we start off at that point just squeezing the ball, just getting this neuromuscular tactile senses going. This is going to build neuron connections. And then we start up with a small toss. We're just getting up a little bit and catching it. Okay, good. And then we start tossing it higher and higher and higher. This can take some time to build up, depending on how severely activated the brain is. That takes time. And then we go to the other side, same thing, squeezing, tossing, tossing, tossing until we get the good height. And then we can go back and forth. This is good. This does a little pulse between the left and right hemispheres, but it's a slow rhythm, so the brain doesn't get into what I call the play flow state. And that's when the brain is fully activated and your brain just goes, and you'll feel it. That's the important part about juggling. I want you to get to feel that. So once we get this back and forth 10 times, we got that going. Good. Now we can start on step 1. All right, time for step 1, the crossover. So we're going to put one hand on top, hand underneath, and we're going to catch it and throw it with the same hand, just to let our brain know that we're doing this trick. All right, we're going to be catching and throwing with the same hand, no big deal. But the tosses are about forehead height or just a little bit higher, right? And this is the actual trick. We toss it up and then we go underneath it with the other hand. All right, so we're working on our tossing height. That's one thing we're doing, but we're also starting to set the foundation of the cross action, because when we do this and our hand goes underneath it, it signals to our brain that we're crossing over to the other side. So that works. It's just a small step, but we can get this going pretty quickly to it where the rhythm is like this and we got 10 going, no problem. Perfect. Then we go the other side. Again, toss it, catch it, and throw it with the same hand. And then we're going to go boom, same side, 10 times in a row. Once we got that smooth, right, we're ready to go to the next step. All right, step 2, this is called the magnet. So we're going to have one hand up here, not too far, not too close, just right there. And one hand underneath, we're going to catch it, drop it, catch it, drop it. Okay, so now it's really working the cross brain action, right? Now we're going between both hands. And again, we're working on the ball toss, the height of it, and going between left and right hemisphere. Once you get that going 10 times in a row again, we're going to go to the other side. All right, you can see why it's called the magnet. Looks like it, right? Shoop, caught, shoop. But the magnet, there it is, 10 times in a row. Good. Now you're ready to go on to step 3. Step 3, the infinity. We're going to have one hand in front like this. We're going to toss up, catch it. This hand comes around like this as this one switches over. Boom. All right. So again, working on toss height, and now we're going back and forth again between both hands. So now we're building up that foundation, neuron connection. This one's also a Tai Chi move, like this. So what you can do with it is once you get this going, you can add a little bit of leg movement to it and a head shake. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. All right, that one's over there. So now we've done step 1, 2, and 3. You can test to see if you can do those in a row, 10 times in a row without dropping. Just boom, you got it going, boom, 10 times. Okay, perfect. Got this one going 10 times in a row, no problem. Now we're up ready to step 4, and we're going to bring 2 balls in. 90+% of the people, when they say they can juggle with 2 balls, will do this. This is not really juggling with 2 balls. It actually puts your brain in kind of like a panic state, but it's also going in a circular pattern, not a cross brain pattern, and that's what we want to do. This is a 2-ball pattern, and it's much easier. I call this one the 1, 2, 2, 1, or left, right, right, left, 1, 2, 2, 1, just much easier for me for some reason. But start off with one hand, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, right? Get comfortable with it. Once you get to a point where you're not pausing in between, where it goes 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. You got this rhythm going. We got it back and forth like this. Spend a little bit more time just getting this really smooth and you're super comfortable with it. Because once you get that down, then it's easy. Now it's time for the 3rd ball. Now you got 3 balls, right? This is super easy. You start off with the hand with the 2 balls, right? Makes sense. You just toss, 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 toss. That's it. There you go. Now you're doing the Cascade, first juggle. That, which is a lot easier than this. This is panic for my brain. This is much easier. But I want you to get to that point where you can feel it. It'll take a little bit of time. Balls will go a little bit all over the place. That's why the bed's there for learning how to do. But you'll get it relatively quickly. Again, the ROI on learning how to do this, it doesn't take a lot of time. But once you get it and your brain just goes into that thing where, ooh, I've got this rhythm down, it gives you such a sense of accomplishment. It's a great feeling. And once you get this trick down, you can stop if you want to stop learning how to juggle, but you can always learn a new trick. There's always different ways to mess with your brain and create stronger left to right hemisphere connections. It's just extraordinary what this one thing can do for you and just making your life a little bit better. This is my #1 exercise by far as getting yourself in a better state of mind. If you need a break from something, if you quickly juggle out your balls, your brain goes, and you're locked in again with whatever you need to do. It doesn't shut down your brain. It keeps it nice and flowing. We need more of this, you guys. We need to combat the craziness that's been infiltrated into our brains at all times. Juggling is one way to reset and let you know you can play again. Go out to the world, spread this. We need it. more than ever, if you learn how to juggle, you can be part of the solution. You can not only keep yourself, you can bring your world right here and keep yourself nice and better, but you can share it with other people. Help do that. Become an ambassador of play, you guys. We need this now more than ever. Find out how to make these things. This is the best ultimate play tool. Right? This is not just for juggling. It's not just for kicking. It's for throwing around, knocking down stuff, having a great time with this one little tool that you can find out at hapkido.org or .com. That is a key. Have fun with the process. Spread the joy of play and transform our world. It's up to you guys. We need you. All right? So hope you found this enjoyable, entertaining at least, but I hope you learned how to do juggling from this. Share, like, comment, do whatever you need to do or can do to help promote it if you want to. All right. I'd appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed day out there. Aloha.